What is press checking? When do you use it? And probably why you shouldn't use it at all. Folks, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist. And fair warning, there are differences between defensive shooting and competition shooting and YouTube shooting, which is often a matter of looking flashy, cool, or movie shooting or movie press checking like John Wick or all sorts of crap, which you do you. Whatever it is that you think works best for you, go with that. Having said that, there's things in which you do things right and there's things that are simply wrong, that have no logical explanation as to why you're doing it. Honestly, the way I was taught, the way I was trained for a long time was you don't press check a damn thing. You know that you have a round in the chamber and you don't need to constantly verify. If you need to verify anything, the most you do is okay, yeah, that round is in there, fine, I don't need to check anything else. Now, what is press checking? Press checking is simply doing this, verifying, and you can go the John Wick single-handed, you can go the forward these days, very cool with serration. Oh yeah, I see the bright brass in there, or the more simple manner of, you know, slightly slingshotting it. Oh yeah, there it is, a little bit of brass. I'm happy, I have a round in the chamber, and it's perfectly fine. There's really nothing wrong with doing this as long as you're keeping your finger off the trigger guard and pointing the gun in the right direction. Now, the different ways in which you can do this, can you do it with one hand? Can you do it with a forward serration? So you can do a number of bullshit things. Honestly, the more simple way of doing this is slightly pulling back with your hand unnecessarily close to the end of the barrel. Makes no sense, at least to me. And I get it that, yeah, I just saw a video from a guy that is obviously an expert shooter. But I save like 0.4 of a second by racking the slide here or like this. And he even said like, no, this is not something I practice enough. Those are all fucking party tricks. Now, in terms of defensive shooting, racking the slide, palm over the gun, pulling back, letting go, and that's it. The same goes for this. If you're gonna be press checking, you know, safely, there we go, I'm happy, I see brass. Now, the reality is that you probably, and James Yeager hated this shit like no one else. He was adamant about never doing press checking. That was just a sign of an amateur. And honestly, that's the way in which I was taught as well. Why? Because you know exactly how many rounds you have in your magazine. You have 17 rounds, okay? You have your pistol. You place the magazine inside the pistol. You pull the slide and you see a round and you let it fly forward. And, you know, if you have still somewhat young eyes, you see the round going into the chamber. And also very important, you hear the slide hammering into place, flying forward, and you hear the round making that distinctive noise, a distinctive sound as it goes into the chamber. So you know that the round is in there. Oh, but I want to visibly verify. This gets to the point of obsessive compulsion behavior. I mean, I see guys doing YouTube videos and they have massive channels and they constantly check if they have a fucking round in the chamber, like every half minute, after shooting, they just, oh, dude, the gun is working perfectly fine. Why the hell do you even doubt that there's a round in there? So you have to be careful with that kind of nonsense. If you want to make sure, you just remove the magazine and you verify. Right, 17 round magazine, I now have 16 rounds. The round is in the chamber, and that's the way I was taught. That's the way some of the people I respect the most in this firearms defensive shooting community will usually go for. And there's also some people that will say, yeah, I just want to verify. Okay, safely, as safe as possible, pointing in the right direction, trigger off, finger off the trigger guard, and without unnecessarily bringing my hand here, I don't find a possible explanation for that when I can perfectly do this. This is not something that you're doing in a hurry. You're not competing on press checking tournaments. You're just doing something that's administrative handling of the firearm in not hostile environments. You're not gonna be press checking, right, while someone is shooting at you, okay? So this would be as far as I would go. Ideally, you're solid enough in your training that at the most, you do this. You verify that the round is no longer there and it's in there. You know, you do whatever you feel works best for you. But fair warning, I usually see a lot of this obsessive compulsive, constantly press checking in different ways when it's completely uncalled for. There's really no need for that to that extent. All right. And one final thing that I like about actually just checking your magazine and seeing that the round is effectively not in there anymore is there's really no other way in which the round just magically disappears, right? I can verify that the slide is forward, the round is no longer there, so it has to be there, okay? The nice thing is that I don't have to bring my gun out of the holster. And this may seem silly because it's not that as if you're afraid of the gun, but usually most accidents, most accidental discharges or negligent discharges, it usually happens with administrative handling of the gun. It is extremely common that someone, oh yeah, checking something, boom. So whenever you can do something without removing the gun from the holster, that is usually a big plus. Now, you will also say, yeah, but this way, I visually check that it is in there, right? And I really don't have that much fear of, oh, but I leave it out of battery, or usually if the gun is in proper working condition, you will not have any of that going on. But solid training usually beats all of the fancy YouTube bullshit that is just great for views, but not exactly great common practice when it comes to self-defense. Okay, that's basically my take. Let me know what you think there in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about all of this stuff, especially regarding firearms, self-defense shooting, the kind of thing you learn in actual proper training, you do have my book, Street Survival Skills, as well as Surviving the Economic Collapse for all of the economic stuff going on that you want to prepare for as well. See you next video. Take care.